one that was with a J. I need to look back. I think it was Annette that gave me that. It was cute. But I still need to land on a name for these. But anywho, I have been going through a process, as you know, and as we all go through processes. That is life. Pruning, growing, planting, fruit. There's all different processes in life. And I posted about the metamorphosis. So I feel like I am in a season of like realizing that my wings have sprouted. I'm out of the slime of the DNA shift from the cocoon to the butterfly. And every time I get a breakthrough, I am so amazed at the freedom I experience in each new breakthrough. And so I always think, oh my gosh, this is it! Finally! But I'm finally learning to stop thinking it's finally, but it's just like, oh my goodness, there's more and more and more. The closer we get to God, the more depth there is, the more deep He goes. If we allow it, we can be constantly deep calls unto deep. And I feel like I shared a little bit, maybe, about the process that I've been going through about with my husband, and like realizing that I was trusting him with 99.9% of my heart. Even after 23 years, the Lord was revealing this like 0.1%. And I was shocked. I was truly shocked, because I feel like I've totally given everything and opened up everything. And yet, there was this 0.1%. And it had a lot to do, and I probably will go into this whole thing on a different depth later. But, you know, it had to do with those areas where I feel weak and insecure and fearful. And those three things to me, I've always viewed as ugly. Like, for me, just yucky. I hate feeling weak. I hate feeling insecure. And I hate feeling fear. So, in a way, I tricked myself for years that I wasn't feeling those things. So I would just kind of climb out of them and see it from a different view. And I realized you can only avoid something so long, and it festers and it pops up in different ways. You know, you're gonna experience it some way or another. And the surprising part for me is that I still, in a way, had that with the Lord, like connected to, do I really trust that He knows where to find me? You know, like David in the field. Samuel came to anoint the next king, and he was like, okay, here's all the brothers. Yeah, I would have thought it would have been him. I mean, he's super handsome and talented. And the father, Jesse, was like, yeah, these are like my best sons. And David was out in the field, not even knowing Samuel came that day, and his dad wasn't even seeing in him what was in him. And I've had issues with not believing that God will make it clear what He's called me to do, and to connect me to it, and to connect me to the people that it's involved, who are involved. I've had to work through this mentality, this orphan spirit, fear of rejection. It's like, I thought years ago it was dealt with, but there's been so many layers. And I've actually heard that as a prophet, rejection is one of the biggest, hardest attacks that comes against prophets. And it kind of sucks because prophets are called to speak some hard messages and bring warnings sometimes, but also to bring the heart of God. Like, in a way it makes sense because God has a tender heart. He is so tender-hearted and has an amazingly good heart. So I literally am getting this as I'm talking. It's making me a little bit emotional, but I realize, that kind of makes sense, that rejection is one of the most painful, and for me it's been the fear of rejection that freezes me sometimes, and it causes me to withhold what I feel I'm supposed to give or bring because I'm so afraid of rejection. Or I should say I have been so afraid because he's been chipping away at this, chipping away. And I've been surprised how long it's taken. But, the Lord doesn't force himself on people. And that's why it's so powerful. Like, love is so powerful. His love that he offers as a free gift, we still have to accept it and choose it. And he is willing to face that rejection. And he faced the rejection to go to the cross. To raise up disciples who, one of his 12 betrayed him, and he thought, for sure, these are my 12 closest people, I'm raising them up, I'm sowing into them, I'm entrusting them. But anyway, he gets it. And that helps me be willing to keep going and keep putting myself out there and keep trudging forward when I get betrayed or when I get rejected or when I get misunderstood or when someone just doesn't see me for who I am. And I finally feel that peace and trust that he sees me. He is El Roy, I believe. That's the God who sees me. The God who sees. And I'm really finally believing it. And it doesn't matter if I get connected with the right people. It doesn't matter if I'm in the right place or at the right time. It doesn't matter if there was a super anointed prophet in the area and I missed it. It doesn't matter if I'm with the wrong people and it's not going great, or if I'm with the right people and it feels perfect but it's just not happening. He is the God who sees me. And it's really funny because he's been highlighting to me 317, which is my P.O. box growing up from 0 to 17, and then 279, which was my phone number, first beginning of my phone number during that same period of time. And he's been highlighting my birth date, 10/26. So he's just grilling this into me, and just, it's touching my heart so deeply. And I'm sharing it with you because he feels the same about you. And he's been allowing me to go through all these processes in life and challenges and struggles and weakness and insecurity and fears because I'm someone who has to try stuff on before I really understand it. Sadly, I wouldn't wish this on myself, but I see the good in it. I see the good in it. I'm finally beginning to see good. And I'm realizing that I'm embracing it, and it's so good. It's so beautiful, so healing. And he used my relationship with my husband to be a prophetic story of that, a prophetic act of that. And he told me many times, like, you're going to experience my love for you as a husband as you embrace fully your marriage and show the fullness of your heart and all vulnerability. Full disclosure. And I had my excuses, my justifications of like, I just need to handle it myself because I don't want to bug Ruslan. This is between me and God. I don't need to burden him. I've struggled with that before. He knows I struggle. I don't want to have to tell him again. Like, I just kept trying to do it alone. I didn't want to need my husband when I feel so weak. Because I thought it was so ugly. So I thought he would think it's ugly in me too and would reject me. But it was a lie. And I am just in awe at the goodness of my husband and the goodness of my God. And I was listening to a song, I'll end on that, and it was called Return to Innocence. And I just happened to look down and see what it was called. And then I was like, I think I need to look up those lyrics. So I looked up those lyrics, and it was just basically exactly Holy Spirit, an invitation to laugh when you feel to laugh, to cry when you feel to cry, to dance when you feel to dance. It's a return to innocence before shame, before betrayal, before rejection. Who we were created to be when we walked in the garden with God, unashamed, naked and